Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today, and welcome to today's Group 4 presentation on AI and education. The integration of artificial intelligence into higher education has significantly transformed how institutions operate, offering innovative solutions to streamline business processes, enhance student success, and improve academic outcomes. From predictive analytics for personalized learning to AI driven admissions and financial aid, these technologies are shaping the future of education. However, as AI becomes more pervasive, it raises profound ethical and regulatory concerns that require critical examination. This assignment explores the intersection of AI application and higher education with a focus on their ethical implications and regulatory frameworks in the United States and the European Union. By analyzing key AI applications such as learning analytics and adaptive platforms, this research highlights challenges such as bias, transparency, and data privacy. Furthermore, the assignment explores the existing regulatory frameworks, including Family Educational Regulation and Privacy Act, General Data Privacy Regulation, and the proposed European Union AI Act, while proposing strategies for the ethical implementation of AI in educational contexts. Through this analysis, the goal is to provide actionable recommendations for fostering trust, equity, and accountability in AI systems, ensuring they align with the values of fairness and the inclusivity while adhering to regulatory standards. This work underscores the importance of balancing technological innovation with ethical responsibility to advance higher education in a sustainable and equitable manner. Our mission is to explore the impact of artificial intelligence on higher education and its ethical implications moving forward. While AI offers opportunities to streamline processes and enhance student success, it also presents challenges like bias in admission algorithms, data privacy concerns, and lack of transparency in decision making. Addressing these issues requires institutions to adopt robust ethical frameworks and align with regulations such as the General Data Privacy Regulation in the European Union and Federal Trade Commission guidelines in the United States. Strategies like forming diverse AI oversight committees, conducting regular bias audits, offering human only decision options, and providing AI ethics training can help ensure fairness, accountability, and trustworthiness in AI driven processes. To achieve this, the first step involves understanding the current regulatory landscape and aligning with ethical frameworks and guidelines to establish a foundation of compliance and responsibility. The second step focuses on developing a proposal strategy and implementing recommendations, such as forming oversight committees and prioritizing transparency, to ensure AI systems are used ethically and inclusively in higher education. So, where are we today? AI has revolutionized this field through applications like predictive analytics for student success, adaptive learning platforms, and AI driven admissions. These innovations enhance decision making, operational efficiency, and personalized learning experiences. However, alongside these benefits, ethical and regulatory concerns such as fairness, privacy, and accountability must be addressed to ensure equitable and trustworthy AI deployment. Predictive analytics utilizes AI algorithms to analyze student data, identifying patterns that forecast academic outcomes. This approach enables institutions to pinpoint students at risk of underperforming or dropping out, allowing for timely interventions. For instance, predictive models assess factors such as attendance, participation, grades to determine a student's likelihood of success. By proactively addressing potential issues, universities can enhance retention and success rates. Adaptive learning platforms employ AI to customize educational content to individual student needs. These students adjust the difficulty and style Adaptive learning platforms employ AI to customize educational content to individual student needs. These systems adjust the difficulty and style of instruction based on real time assessment of a student's performance, ensuring a personalized learning experience. This method not only caters to diverse learning styles, but also helps in addressing specific knowledge gaps, improving comprehension and retention. AI driven admission and financial aid processes. In 2023, 50% of admission offices in higher education reported using AI for reviewing applications. For 2024, 80% of officials in higher education said that they would integrate AI into their review process this year. Learning analytics involve collecting and analyzing data related to student learning behaviors. AI processes large data sets to uncover insights into how students interact with course material, participate in activities, and perform academically. Educators can use this information to refine instructional strategies, provide targeted support, and create a more engaging learning experience, thereby boosting both performance and retention. What is the general impact? The integration of artificial intelligence in education brings both significant benefits and challenges. On the positive side, AI enhances decision making and operational efficiency, making processes smoother and more effective. It also supports personalized learning by tailoring educational experiences to individual needs, promoting accessibility and fostering inclusivity in educational systems. These advancements help create a more adaptive and student focused learning environment. However, there are notable challenges that must be addressed. Ethical and regulatory concerns such as fairness, privacy, and accountability remain key issues. AI systems can perpetuate biases, leading to unequal outcomes for students. Other drawbacks include the high cost of implementing and maintaining AI systems, reduced human interaction in education, and concerns about unemployment as automation replaces traditional roles. Additionally, technical difficulties and overdependence on technology can disrupt educational processes if not carefully managed. These advantages and disadvantages underscore the importance of a balanced and thoughtful approach to integrating AI in education. By addressing challenges such as ethical practices and regulatory compliance, institutions can harness the benefits of AI while mitigating its risks, ensuring a fair and sustainable future for education.
Let's now consider the ethical challenges in AI deployment. AI promises to greatly improve the efficiency of admissions decision making. Take, for instance, the University of Texas at Austin's Graduate Admissions Evaluator System, or GRADE for short, that uses machine learning to predict how likely an individual is to be admitted based on the information provided in their applicant file. GRADE is trained on a data set of previous admissions decisions and produces a score that can help human reviewer efforts. Systems like these are impressive, but they raise important ethical concerns. We will consider four categories of these: bias, privacy, transparency, and accountability. There is a risk that systems like these, which are trained on previous admissions decisions, can perpetuate biases and unfair disparities. It's critical that biases in previous admissions decisions be identified and training sets modified accordingly. AI tools for admissions may unintentionally reinforce systemic biases. Predictive algorithms that take into consideration test scores, school profiles, or geographic location might also inadvertently perpetuate biases that are baked into those application data points. If the algorithm weighs standardized test scores too heavily, it may disproportionately disadvantage minority groups due to historical inequities in access to test prep resources, for example. Finally, as applicants begin to use AI tools to generate applications, especially personal statements and essays, AI might end up having an AI bias. According to Rick Clark, Georgia Tech's Assistant Vice Provost and Executive Director of Undergraduate Admission, AI could act as a sounding board for students who cannot afford an admissions consultant. But this comes with the risk that AI application consultants will be engineered to generate applications for AI admissions decision makers, creating an AI to AI feedback loop that could conceivably lead to a bias against authentic human generated applications. There are also privacy and data security concerns. Applications are filled with private and sensitive data. From social security numbers to deeply personal essays, applications are private and sensitive. This presents a unique challenge when considering the use of third-party AI models that often run on private cloud infrastructure, exposing applicant data to a broader threat surface than traditional applications. Sharing of data with third-party AI processors or using applications to train future AI admission bots also comes with a concern about consent. Some applicants may be morally opposed to their data being shared with AI, and at very least, applicants need to be notified before their data is used in this way. Sensitive student data may fall under the protections of privacy regulations like GDPR and FERPA, discussed later on, as well as institutional policies. Admissions systems present an attractive target for bad actors, and so data breaches and unauthorized access are a constant concern that AI systems will only exacerbate. AI admission systems also raise concerns around transparency and accountability. When admissions decisions are made using AI tools, their role in that process should be transparent to both the admissions decision makers and the applicants. Without such transparency, it is not possible for individuals to challenge AI-driven decisions as biased or unfair. Texas at Austin's grade system, for example, generates human-readable information explaining what factors most influenced its prediction. More concerning is the use of black box AI models that are not capable of producing understandable explanations. Finally, these systems raise questions about human oversight. How much autonomy should AI be given in making admissions decisions? Texas at Austin's grade system is simply a tool used by human decision makers along with other tools and methods of evaluation. The ethics of AI admission systems becomes more complicated if there isn't a human in the loop. Whether or not a human remains critical to each and every individual admissions decision, human oversight will be necessary to mitigate potential AI errors and biases. Furthermore, when an AI system denies admission, determining who is responsible for the errors, the institution or the AI vendor, becomes complex. Now let's look at the regulatory landscape. First, consider the EU regulations surrounding AI usage in higher education. Institutions must establish a clear legal basis, such as consent or legitimate interest, for collecting and processing applicant data. Students should be fully informed about how their data will be used by AI, ensuring consent is freely given, specific, and revocable. Transparency is critical, granting applicants the right to understand how decisions are made and the role AI plays in the admissions process. Under the EU's General Data Protection Regulation, or GDPR, Article 22, individuals have the right to contest decisions based solely on automated processing, including profiling, unless explicit consent has been provided. Additionally, data collection and processing should adhere to the principle of data minimization, limiting it to only what is strictly necessary for admissions decisions. The European Union has established several comprehensive frameworks and guidelines to govern AI deployment, emphasizing trust, fairness, and accountability. These are particularly relevant for higher education institutions using AI in the admissions process, where the stakes are high for students and the institutions alike. General data processing regulations govern all AI systems processing personal data, including those used in admissions. GDPR provides protections in terms of requiring a lawful basis for data use, informed consent for data use, transparency, and the right to contest decisions and data minimization. Now let's turn to regulation in the United States. The US lags behind the EU when it comes to regulating AI in education, but there are some existing statutes that may be applicable. When it comes to education programs or activities that receive federal financial assistance, Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 protects against discrimination based on race, color, or national origin, and Title IX protects against discrimination based on sex, including sexual orientation and gender identity. These could both be applied in cases where discrimination may occur. The Americans with Disabilities Act, Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act, and the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act could be applied regarding the use of AI as an accommodation. The Higher Education Act could be applied in terms of the accuracy of the information AI chatbots provide about student loans. In addition to the aforementioned statutes, there have been some actions taken at the federal and state levels. President Joe Biden released an executive order on safe, secure, and trustworthy development and use of artificial intelligence in 2023, emphasizing data privacy, especially for children, and calling for greater oversight when it comes to the development and use of AI. At least 5 states have taken actions regarding AI, including legislation on use, commissioning studies, and piloting programs to prepare students for living and working with AI. In addition, at least 7 governors have released executive orders with aims ranging from the establishment of task forces and advisory councils to the creation of programs, standards, and guidelines for AI use.
In the United States, there isn't a single comprehensive AI framework, but there are two key guidelines shaping AI ethics and governance: the Blueprint for an AI Bill of Rights and the Federal Trade Commission's regulatory approach. Starting with the Blueprint for an AI Bill of Rights, released by the White House in 2022, this framework outlines 5 core principles that protect individuals and ensure the ethical use of AI. First, AI systems should be safe and effective with rigorous testing to avoid harm. Second, it emphasizes algorithmic discrimination protections, ensuring AI treats everyone equitably without bias. Third, it highlights data privacy, giving individuals control over their personal information and protecting it from misuse. Fourth, users should receive notice and explanation, clear communication when AI is used and how it impacts them. Lastly, it stresses the need for human alternatives and oversights, ensuring critical decisions allow for human involvement or non AI options. While non binding, this framework serves as a guiding vision for ethical AI in the United States. The FTC, on the other hand, enforces existing laws to regulate AI practices, focusing on fairness, transparency, and accountability. Under statutes like the Fair Credit Reporting Act, the FTC prohibits deceptive or unfair practices, such as misleading claims about AI capabilities or biased outcomes. It also requires transparency, ensuring organizations disclose when AI is used and how it processes data. Additionally, the FTC enforces anti discrimination laws, making sure AI doesn't unfairly disadvantage individuals in areas like lending, hiring, or admissions. Together, these guidelines reflect the United States' approach to balancing innovation with individual rights, though they're less centralized than the EU's frameworks, which are examined next. The European Union has established 2 major frameworks to guide the ethical use of AI: the Ethics Guidelines for Trustworthy AI and the EU Artificial Intelligence Act. Starting with the ethics guidelines for trustworthy AI, created by the EU High Level Expert Group on AI. These guidelines emphasize ethical, human centered AI systems and highlight three key areas: avoiding discrimination, assigning accountability, and requiring human oversight. Fairness is a cornerstone, ensuring that AI systems treat everyone equally and avoid biases based on race, gender, and socioeconomic status, or other protected categories. To prevent errors or injustices, human oversight is required, meaning no decision can be made solely by an automated system without human review. The guidelines also stress the importance of accountability by requiring institutions to clearly define who is responsible for AI driven decisions, whether those decisions are made in house or by external vendors. The EU Artificial Intelligence Act takes things a step further. Expected to become law soon, this act clarifies AI systems by risk level. AI driven admission systems in education are considered high risk due to their significant influence on access to education. As a result, institutions using these systems must conduct mandatory risk assessments to identify potential issues like bias, security breaches, or unintended consequences. Transparency is also a key requirement, with institutions needing to document how their AI systems work, their training data, and the human monitoring processes they have in place. This ensures that AI systems are regularly tested and updated to reduce bias and ensure fairness. To ethically and effectively implement AI in higher education admissions processes, institutions must align with the regulations and guidelines of both the United States and the European Union. To implement AI ethically in higher education, we propose a four-step compliance strategy, which aligns with both GDPR and US regulatory requirements. First, define scope and risks. Institutions should clearly identify the scope of AI usage in admissions and assess associated risks, such as potential biases and privacy concerns. Second, set compliance milestones. Establish specific goals and timelines to ensure systems meet regulatory standards. This includes adhering to US Federal Trade Commission guidelines and the EU's forthcoming AI Act. Third, establish transparency tools. Develop tools and processes that document AI decision making. This ensures accountability and builds trust among applicants and stakeholders. Lastly, audit and update. Regularly audit AI systems to identify and mitigate biases or errors. Updating these systems ensures continued compliance with evolving regulations. Now, let's explore these in greater detail. Institutions should clearly identify the scope of AI use in admissions and assess associated risks such as potential biases and privacy concerns. Currently, in 2024, artificial intelligence can be used in various areas of the admissions process, including data analysis, generating admissions scoring and candidate ranking, transcript review, recommendation letter review, personal essay analysis, preliminary screening, and predictive analytics. Universities can also utilize chatbots in their online admissions process to effectively address questions from prospective students. At each stage, it is imperative that institutions and stakeholders are transparent about AI utilization. Thereafter, stakeholders may accurately assess the risk of potential biases and privacy concerns where relevant to remain compliant with AI laws and guidance. To ensure compliance with the United States or European Union regulations in higher education admissions, institutions should adopt a set compliance milestones framework. This begins with conducting an initial risk assessment. In the United States, compliance milestones align with existing privacy and ethical standards of bias and data security, though not legally required. In the EU, evaluating AI tools against the AI Act's risk categories and performing a data protection impact assessment as required by the GDPR. This step identifies and addresses potential risks associated with AI applications. Staff training is the next critical action. ensuring admissions personnel and data handlers are educated on ethical and legal requirements. In the USA, staff should be trained on ethical use and the Family Education Rights and Privacy Act, or FERPA, which governs student data privacy and ethical principles for transparency and fairness. In the EU, staff should know GDPR principles, such as data minimization and obtaining proper consent, as well as the AI Act's transparency and fairness requirements. Training ensures all involved parties understand and follow relevant guidelines. Establishing human oversight protocols is also essential. Though the USA has not created laws in this area, stakeholders should subscribe to guiding ethical usage principles of human oversight, ensuring human review of AI driven decisions and establishing accountability mechanisms. In the EU, there is a requirement that workflows include human review of automated decisions to comply with GDPR Article 22, which protects individuals from decisions made solely by automated systems. Finally, institutions must maintain strong regulatory alignment by adhering to the changing jurisdiction laws. Regulatory alignment in the US requires adherence to laws like FERPA and promoting responsible AI use by emphasizing transparency, accountability, and equity in admissions processes. Also, state laws may vary across the country. For example, the California AI Transparency Act. Across the European Union, there is a unified front on adhering to the AI Act's transparency and accountability standards and the GDPR's principles of data protection by design and by default, promoting ethical and responsible use in admissions process. To establish transparency tools in AI-driven admissions processes, institutions should prioritize actions that engage applicants and ensure regulatory compliance. This includes developing applicant-facing tools that clearly and simply explain how AI evaluates applications, enabling applicants to understand the decision-making process and the role of AI in their evaluations. Providing applicants with the option to choose human-only decision-making is another critical step, empowering individuals who prefer traditional review processes over automated systems and fostering trust in the institution. Institutions should conduct regular bias audits to identify and mitigate unfair outcomes in AI systems. Institutions must also ensure that applicants are informed about privacy rights. For example, applicants in California under the CCPA or the European Union under the GDPR provide rights including but not limited to the right to access, rectify, or erase their data, which reinforces user autonomy and strengthens data protection practices. These measures align with the US blueprint for an AI Bill of Rights and the EU's GDPR Article 12, which emphasizes transparency, and Article 22, which governs automated decision making. Additionally, the Fair Credit Reporting Act and the Equal Credit Opportunity Act are both laws that require creditors to provide notice to applicants when adverse action is taken. The transparency tool should support the USA's FTC or EU ethics guidelines for trustworthy AI by focusing on interpretability and user empowerment, ensuring that AI systems are implemented responsibly and ethically. To ensure compliance with both the European Union's and the United States requirements, institutions must prioritize auditing and updating AI systems as part of an ongoing process. Conducting quarterly bias audits is essential to identify and mitigate biases within AI algorithms. This process includes reviewing training datasets to ensure they are representative of the diversity of applicants, thereby reducing the risk of systemic inequities and fostering fairer outcomes. Institutions should also maintain comprehensive documentation of algorithmic performance, risk assessments, and compliance efforts. These records must be thorough and detailed to demonstrate compliance during regulatory inspections and to promote transparency in the admissions process. In the United States, the Federal Trade Commission emphasizes fairness and transparency, requiring institutions to validate and regularly audit AI models to mitigate biases and ensure non discriminatory practices. These efforts align with the EU AI Act's requirements for periodic monitoring and reporting of high risk AI systems and GDPR's accountability principles, while also addressing the US regulations that stress the importance of algorithmic transparency and fairness in the admissions process. Ultimately, ethical AI implementation requires a proactive compliance strategy that combines US and EU regulations. By defining risks, setting milestones, ensuring transparency, and auditing systems, institutions can responsibly harness the power of AI to enhance admissions processes. AI has immense potential to enhance higher education, but ethical and regulatory challenges must be addressed. For example, a university might train AI on historical data to predict applicant success. Without proper safeguards, this could perpetuate bias. To mitigate risks, institutions should conduct bias audits, provide plain language explanation of AI decisions, and offer human only evaluation options. By aligning to both EU and US guidelines, we can ensure that AI in higher education is both ethical and effective. The integration of artificial intelligence in higher education has revolutionized operations, offering tools to enhance learning and streamline admissions and financial aid. However, ethical and regulatory concerns such as bias, transparency, and data privacy must be addressed. In the US, institutions should establish AI oversight committees with diverse stakeholders to align AI systems with ethical standards and regulations like FERPA and Title IX. Transparency is key, requiring clear communication about AI's decision making processes and data usage. Regular audits and bias testing ensure compliance with non discrimination laws like Title VI of the Civil Rights Act. Additionally, training programs should educate faculty and staff on AI's capabilities and limitations while allowing students to provide feedback on AI applications. These strategies foster trust, equity, and accountability, ensuring ethical use while advancing innovation in education. In summary, the integration of AI in higher education presents significant opportunities to enhance learning, streamline processes, and improve decision making. However, it also raises critical ethical and regulatory challenges such as bias, transparency, and data privacy. Addressing these issues requires institutions to adopt ethical frameworks, aligning with regulations like GDPR in the EU and Title VI in the US, and implement strategies such as bias audits, transparency tools, and human oversight. By fostering trust, equity, and accountability, higher education institutions can ensure that AI is used responsibly to advance innovation while upholding the fairness and inclusivity so crucial in education practice.